Missing Andrew Nemhard, missing Benedict Mathurin, missing TJ McConnell, missing Obi Toppin, obviously missing Tyrese Halliburton, and trailing by double digits with under 6 minutes to go. The Indiana Pacers got their first win of the NBA season over your Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry said, "This is one of those games where you just look in the mirror." Well, there needs to be a lot of soul searching done by this Warriors team as they started the season 4-1, but have lost 2 straight games to far inferior opponents. There are some major issues on this Golden State Warriors team that they must solve here early on this season while everybody's healthy, while everybody's playing games, so they can cement themselves as a contender in the Western Conference. And it starts with Wardell. It starts with Steph, kind of the root cause of the Warriors' main issue here, in my opinion, turning the basketball over. The Warriors turned the basketball over at the 5th highest rate in the NBA through their first 7 games of the year, turning it over 17 times a game. Steph's had 10 turnovers in the last 2 games as well. That's one issue for Golden State. We're going to break down that and a lot more on today's show. But if you guys want to turn this thing around, if you want the Warriors to get back on track here, go down below and make it happen. Manifest good vibes for the Dubs here. Hit that thumbs up icon and like today's video if you want the Golden State Warriors here as they face a lot of road games ahead to get back on track and get back in the win column. All right, Steve Kerr said this about that loss to Indiana. He said, "There's going to be some tough nights. There's always tough nights during the season. This should not have been one of them. We had the day off yesterday. We didn't do shoot-around this morning. We had plenty of rest, but the execution down the stretch was awful. And it's a shame because our young guys played their asses off." Honestly, I can't even look to the classic blame Jonathan Kuminga or blame Brandon Pajemski throughout this video. Those guys have been playing pretty solid. They've been shooting the ball fairly efficiently. But it's the vets. It's the guys who kind of need to carry the weight of this team on their backs in order for this team to be a winning one. And it starts with Steph. And I don't know really what it is, but Steph just looks disinterested so far this season. I mean, his three-pointers over the last few games have been atrocious. His handle has been, I'd argue, lackadaisical. We're not seeing much of a defensive impact from him. And I'm not going to sit here and act like he's Kawhi Leonard on the defensive end, but over the past few seasons, has he gotten stronger and become a better team defender? We've been asking a little bit more from him on that end, and he has not yet delivered. So he knows he has to get better. I'm not going to worry about Steph long-term, but if the Warriors want to stack wins early on in the season, it's going to have to come with him as the main engine. Here's what he had to say about the loss and kind of putting the blame on himself a little bit, which we all know Steph's going to do. He said, "There were parts of the game where I made it too hard on all of us. Not getting organized, bad possessions, a little lack of energy. You give a team like that life." And that's the kind of team that the Warriors have played the past 2 games. You played a Giannis Antetokounmpo-less Milwaukee Bucks with a player looking for revenge in Ryan Rollins last week, and you got blitzed. And then the same thing happens in the fourth quarter. Things go stagnant, things get cold, and you have a team who's hungry for their first win with all their superstars gone in the Indiana Pacers, and you let it slip away. Look, every game, I know it's an 82-game season. A lot of people complain about the NBA season being too long and all that stuff, but every game seriously counts. Like I said at the beginning of today's video, with these guys who are aging stars, aging veterans, like they're playing all the games early on this season. We haven't seen the load management happen for Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond just yet. So these games absolutely count and could be the difference when it's all said and done between the Warriors making the play-in or missing the playoffs entirely and being like a top 4 seed when we look at what happened at the Western Conference playoff picture last season. Jimmy Butler had this to say about the performance and what Golden State needs to improve upon. He just said, "Giving a damn whenever we turn it over. Giving a damn whenever our man scores. We guard as a team. We score as a team. Everybody's got to be on the same page." I think we've gotten away from that a little bit. It's not a bad thing, but we got to get back to all 5 playing defense, all 5 playing offense. And that's really what this team was looking like for the first 5 games of the year. They had that scheduled loss to the Trailblazers, 3rd game in 4 nights or whatever it was. And it just, a young athletic team like Portland is a bad matchup for Golden State, especially in that situation. But the offense was looking connected. The defense over the first 2 games against really solid opponents in the Lakers and the Nuggets were looking insane, connection-wise. So it's weird that they've kind of slipped here and got into this early season rut against much inferior opponents. The elite teams in this league, they put belt to ass on those types of teams. And I think another root cause of the Warriors' struggles here is their on-ball defense. I mean, they're just getting fried by guys who just don't fry everybody in this league. I mean, Ryan Rollins, I believe, is a contender for most improved player this season. He's really coming along in this league and finding his zone. He could end up being the real second option for Giannis Antetokounmpo in that Bucks offense there. So yeah, he's going to be a good player in this league. But he can't be beating you off the dribble, beating you on step back moves as much as he was in that Bucks game. And then you got a guy like Quentin Jackson. Like they're making up guys. Guys are just spawning into this league who are just dominating the Warriors off the bounce here. Look at what these defensive matchups had for Golden State against Indiana here. I mean, it's unbelievable. Pods, Aaron Nesmith fried Pods. He fried Steph. He fried J.K. Siakam fried J.K. Created 33 team points off of the on-ball defense that Kuminga played on him. He went crazy on Jimmy Butler, went crazy on Moses Moody. Draymond Green held him in check, which we expect to do. But then Quentin Jackson goes out there and just dominates against Golden State. 20-plus points for him. And he created 14 points when he was defended by Steph. Like, it's just not good here. And if you look at this from a broader sense over the first 7 games of the season here, Jonathan Kuminga has been tasked with, I would say some pretty tough defensive assignments throughout the season, and Brandon Podziemski has as well. So why does Jonathan Kuminga have the worst defensive rating on the teams thus far? Shout out to B-Ball Sage for this and cleaning the glass for these stats. I mean, Kuminga is allowing 118 points per 100 possessions here. His defensive rating is the worst out of all these stars here. Moses Moody is the best on-ball defender here out of these groups that we kind of rely upon to be stalwarts on defense. Like, Brandon Podziemski's defensive numbers cannot be higher than Jonathan Kuminga's. There's also another chart that I looked at where Brandon Podziemski's actually being tasked with guarding stars more often. A very, very small fraction, though, more often than Jonathan Kuminga so far this year. That's insane to me when you look at Kuminga's athletic profile, what he should project as an on-ball defender, but he hasn't been good. He's gotten the Ja assignments, he's gotten the Luka assignments, he's gotten the Harden assignments, and he's only really he's gotten fried off the dribble by a lot of those guys. Like and Brandon Podziemski, not to say that his defense has been that great either. I mean, he's allowing 63.6% of opponent 2-point field goals to get in the basket. So that's not good, especially when he himself is shooting 55% on 2-point attempts. I mean, that is Olay defense, and it just can't happen if the Warriors want to win basketball games. And that's not to say that Podziemski and Kuminga have been the reason for these Golden State downfalls here, but they're the guys who we need to rely upon for 82 games. Those are the guys that need to be kind of giving it their all on the defensive end. And I mean, Jonathan Kuminga roaming around aimlessly kind of lost the game for Golden State against Indiana. A lapse in defensive coverage. Like, he's not the guy who should be roaming back there. That's Draymond Green. That's Jimmy Butler's job. He needs to be a better on-ball and off-ball defender so far this season. And Golden State's going to be limiting opponents. I hope Giannis lists Bucks opponents to less than 120 points, because that was embarrassing. What do you guys think? Through 7 games so far this season, are the Warriors contenders in the Western Conference? Like, what we've seen from this squad so far, it was awesome through the first 5, but they have really fallen into a rut here. Are the Warriors contenders in the Western Conference? Why for yes and for no? Let me know what you guys think. Because I think this team is potentially a contender when they put it all together, but it's both sides of the equation. Not only have they struggled on defense, but like I said with the turnovers earlier and shooting the basketball, this team's offense has struggles as well. We're going to point those out and what they need to correct around the corner. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our sponsor, as this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The high-flying hoops action is even better on PrizePicks. You can keep the season rolling here with $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats. It's not just basketball. Football season in full swing as well. It takes 60 seconds to pick a lineup. You can mix and match all different types of players and stat projections. PrizePicks offers the best features in the game as well, like stacks. So if you wanted to pick multiple stat projections from the same player, you can throw it in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. It's becoming a social event as well. You can follow your favorite creators, celebrities, your friends, and more, and copy their lineups into your own on the brand new Feed tab. My lineup for Monday Night Football, as I didn't see any projections yet for the Warriors versus Suns game on Tuesday. I got George Pickens more than 64.5 receiving yards and Jacoby Brissett less than 248 passing yards against that pretty bad Cowboy defense, but the Cardinals are pretty bad as well. You can tell my picks or fade them. Just do it at PrizePicks. Download the app today and use the code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. That's code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. And all that information is clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. Alrighty here, Warriors on offense. They are struggling, and it is one of those situations where Steph is kind of the root cause of it all. It's trickling down to the rest of the team here. 6 for his last 34 threes. That is 17%. At the end of the day, Steph just has to hit shots. And again, I said it before, I'll say it again. There's going to be days like this. There's going to be rough stretches like this. He is going to come back and be better from it. But I don't know. I feel like this whole team in general, I mean, maybe it starts with Steph and trickles down to the rest, has to get locked in to this season. And he knows that. He said this about the losses over the past 2 games and what it means. He said, it's the frustration of not being able to capture that momentum that we had to sustain the start that we had. I know we can get it back. Long way to go. You start 4-2, and everybody's talking about how hard the schedule has been and this and that. But these are 2 games that you really should have and wanted to have to show for our start. Hopefully, it lights a fire in all of us to get back on the horse and figure out how we can win throughout a very difficult stretch coming up and show that we're a very capable team. Well, it's not just going to take Steph hitting shots. There's other guys on this team and within this Warriors offense that really have not been what they were at the end of last season throughout the run that Golden State had once they traded for Jimmy Butler. One of those guys being Buddy Hield here, who's shooting 28% from three-point range. Had a couple of good games, but again, inconsistent Buddy. When he's not hitting from three-point range, then he's borderline unplayable. The defense, he can have some solid plays, some pokeaways, some deflections during the game, but overall, on and off the ball, is not the best defensive asset for this Golden State team. And I think there's also players for Steve Kerr in his rotation that need to be out there playing more. I'm not so sure that Buddy is one of them, but I think that Moses Moody absolutely is. We see more often than not when Moses Moody gets a bigger opportunity on this Golden State rotation, he puts up the numbers that we are gawking over, like that we expect out of a guy making $13 million a year. He with more than 20 minutes per game so far this year, those have been the 2 out of 3 games that he's scored in double figures. The games that he's been uber efficient from the field so far. So how about we play this guy more? He's not only has the best defensive metrics on the roster, but he's also had big-time offensive outputs when he's given the opportunity. You can see the inconsistencies. You can see the, mind games for Moses Moody kind of rear their ugly heads when he's not getting consistent minutes in this Golden State rotation. So how about we play the guy a little bit more? He's a good on-ball defender, and he can hit the outside shot if you give him the opportunity. So I want to see more Moses Moody here from Steve Kerr coming up as well. And then Al Horford, I mean, offensively, just still uncomfortable here. I think he's been fine when he's been defending in isolation and you put him in space and even down low as well. But the offensive fit is something that we were all kind of really, really excited to see so far this season, but it hasn't yet materialized here. I truly believe that this team will take off and reach new heights offensively when Al Horford is more acclimated to this system and what Golden State's trying to do offensively. He can hit the outside shot. He's a great connector, but this doesn't seem all the way, assimilated into this Golden State Warriors system and offense just yet. When he finds this groove offensively, this Golden State team is going to be very, very hard to beat. But a lot of stuff's got to go right here. Steph's got to shoot better. Buddy's got to shoot better. I think we've got to play Moses Moody a little bit more, and Al Horford's got to be a better point of emphasis on offense as well. Who do you guys think needs to step up the most for Golden State so far this season? Let me know down in the comment section. Name a player that Golden State needs to put up a little bit better numbers and production on the offensive side of the ball. Because it's not going to be Jonathan Kuminga, man. I'll give credit where credit's due. These are good numbers for Jonathan Kuminga. And the three-point volume isn't necessarily there, but he's hitting them. He's absolutely hitting them. 43.5% from long range on 3 attempts. I mean, that is what I'm asking for Jonathan Kuminga. He's taken the settling for mid-ranges out of his game. He is leading the Golden State Warriors in rebounding at this point, including crashing the offensive glass as well. He's taking efficient shots at the rim or wide open threes. It's really nothing in between at this point, and that is awesome, awesome stuff to see for Kuminga here. Also averaging 3 assists per game, but that ratio when it comes to turnovers is not great for Jonathan Kuminga. Like I said at the beginning of today's show, turnovers are a problem for Golden State, and Kuminga's ratio being 3.3 assists, 2.5 turnovers isn't sitting right with me. Still has a couple, lackadaisical handle. I mean, for lack of a better word, weak handle in general. Still turns the ball over a good bit in that regard, but I can't complain too much about Kuminga's offensive output. If you threw that stat line up for the first 7 games of the season a month ago, then everybody and their mother would have been taking that that line for Jonathan Kuminga, no questions asked. But Curry, Draymond, they got to cut the turnovers down, no doubt about it. Steph has 10 in the last 2 games, and even Al Horford in 21 minutes a game is averaging a turnover and a half. That is really not a great number that I want to see here. 10 Warriors average 0.8 turnovers per game or more. So basically, 10 guys on this Warriors roster are turning the ball over at least once a game. That cannot happen, especially when you consider the teams that Golden State is facing, the defensive outputs that these teams put on over the next 11 games or so. I mean, you got a couple of hopefully gimmies in the Phoenix Suns and the Sacramento Kings, but then you play the Denver Nuggets in their spot again. You play the Indiana Pacers, who are hungry to beat you again this season. Then you have a really tough stretch 3-game set against Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and the Spurs once again, all on the road. Those are two of the best defensive teams in all of basketball. Another gimme against New Orleans, but then, the good defensive teams in Orlando and Miami as well. And then you play Portland, who absolutely blew you out the last time you matched up at the beginning of this season. So the Warriors got to lock in. There's no doubt about it. They cannot afford to lose these games right here. Phoenix, Sacramento, Indiana, New Orleans. You got to go get a couple off those contenders, and then you got to prove that you can beat inferior teams, because that's what good teams in this league do. They take care of business. The Warriors haven't done that over the last 2 games. There's easily correctable issues out here. Better on-ball defense. Just overall better cohesion on both ends of the floor, and just everybody get locked in. It seems like we kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit after starting the season 4-1. We will be live for not this next Warriors game, but the one after on Wednesday. Warriors versus Kings here. Another back-to-back early on this season. I feel like there's no team in this league that's faced 3 back-to-backs already. Well, Golden State's going out there and doing it. We'll be live for the latter half of that back-to-back set. That's why you subscribe to the channel. That will do it for today's show. I pointed out what the Warriors have to fix. It's up to them to go out there and fix it. We'll see you guys in the next video and at the next live stream as well. As always, let's go Dubs.